What's going on, everybody? We finna get ready to get this show started. As we got a little bit of a jam-packed show. Might have a guest joining me for a little bit as we talk about the crazy week that was not only in the NFL but crazy week for the Tennessee Titans as we are now getting set to take on the Atlanta Falcons this Sunday with some changes that have been made, and it could be time for this team to look into the mirror and understand that it's over and it's time to start over. So that's what we're going to see. We're going to see if the Titans can save this season, and we're going to do a tribute to the mayor of Murfreesboro, Kevin Byard. All of that and more right here on Titans and Truth, coming up in 60 seconds.
Hope you can still go. I never ran. Hope you can still go. I never ran, should've known, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter and
Good evening, Titan Nation. How is everybody doing? Good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody doing? Welcome in to TNT tonight. I am back from my week-long bi-week hiatus that was probably well-deserved. I'm your host, Chris, a.k.a. Blue Enforcer, a.k.a. The Truth. And we're going to try to get it together because I know a lot of y'all out there are sad. A lot of y'all out there are panicking. And a lot of y'all out there, some still have the blind faith of optimism, which I will say is grand. And others, maybe like myself, are seeing the writings on the wall. And so we're going to get right into it. But again, make sure y'all share this show out. Y'all follow me on Facebook at TNT Enforcers. Also on Twitter X at TNT Blue Enforcer. And on Twitter at Titan_N_Truth. I am actually in the midst of sharing the show out as well. And so I'm going to do the same thing. And we're going to go ahead and get into the crazy week that was. Derek Robert with a super chat I appreciate said the rebuild has begun. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. It is. And there will be a tribute in honor of, we're going to do a very small talk about tribute of Kevin Byard. Of course, he did get traded. So we're definitely going to go into that as well. And we're going to talk about everything else. But again, make sure y'all share this show out. Hit that share button. and definitely share it out to everybody wherever you're watching. Also, if everybody in here, please hit the like button. Go ahead and smash that like button as you come in, and smash that like button. Let everybody know where they can come for the best Tennessee Titans content in the world is right here on Titans and Truth. And then also, definitely make sure if you become new to the channel, welcome. And if you all go ahead and hit the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel, and go ahead and subscribe to the channel so that way you could be a part of uh of the show, and in that way you could join in with everybody and talk about this game. And we're gonna go ahead and get right into it, and we're gonna start with um, and also, I forgot to mention this: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google, Apple Podcast, wherever you get your podcast, go ahead and download that. So that way, if you can't listen to the whole thing, you can listen to the audio and be a part of it that way. So definitely do that, and come and be a part of the show. So I'm just working on sharing some stuff out. But again, I appreciate everybody tuning in to the show. Appreciate everybody being a part of the show. And as it is always said, let's get this road on the show. And we're going to start first with a tribute because it came out on, I believe it was Tuesday, that the Tennessee Titans traded away Pro Bowl and All Pro safety Kevin Byard, the mayor of Murfreesboro, traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. In return, the Tennessee Titans got a 2024 fifth round pick, a sixth round pick, and former first round pick safety Terrell Edmonds, who formerly played with the Pittsburgh Steelers and then was also with the Philadelphia Eagles, and wasn't exactly great. So, he was part of the trade package in coming here. And so, it's as soon as I heard the news, I was sad. I will say I had to take Truth and Chris the fan and split them up because the Truth, as sad as this is, understands. I understand that you were trying to get something for Kevin Byard. 9 times out of 10, he's probably not going to be on this team next year anyway. They tried to make him take a pay cut. He eventually ended up doing so. Might save about $14 million on the cap next year. So it's sad to see him go to Philly. He joins up with another former Titan, A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. Probably has a chance to go for a ring. But I do understand. It's we're in a rebuild mode. And anybody who thinks otherwise is being a fool, is being naive, and is being doesn't see the writing on the wall. But the Titans are in a rebuild. The Titans are not a good team, and in a lot of ways, they are punting on the 2023 season. And crazy as it's kept, I think it's the right thing to do. Get as much draft capital as you can and get ready to start over because this era is about to end. This era is about to end. And I will say now, Chris, as the fan, I am extremely sad to see Kevin Byard go. Um, he's been the consummate professional. He has been nothing short of remarkable. He is a Titan through and through. He is exactly what you exemplify as a Tennessee Titan. He is exactly what you want in a Tennessee Titan. As y'all can see as well, I had to pay my tribute and pay my respects. I'm wearing my 31. We will not have another 31 like him in Nashville, and I'm going to miss him like crazy. Great guy in the community. A Again, a true shining example of what a Tennessee Titan was supposed to be. And not to mention, he was very good on the field. And the way that Mike Vrabel and maybe to a lesser extent Rand Carthon, they treated him, asked him to take a pay cut, all of that. He takes the pay cut, stays on the team, says he wants to retire a Titan, and then you trade him away. Probably for a bag of cookies. Fifth and sixth round picks. Yeah, we may strike, a gem, a diamond in the rough, but it's very, very rare that you find that. So it's sad. I hate to see Kevin Byard go. The mayor of Murfreesboro is going to be truly missed. I think all of us do. All of us can tip our cap and salute the. He will forever be the mayor of Murfreesboro. And I may have a guest. I may have a special guest coming in. Hopefully, he's feeling a little bit better. I know it's been probably a rough 48 hours for this gentleman as well, but I'm going to give this man some flowers with something that we're going to be talking about in just a bit. And I'm going to have the man himself, the man, the legend, Ken Moore of K Moore Sports is going to be joining us in just a second as he gets set up and everything. But I'm just going to read a couple comments. D says it's time to rebuild. Glad we're thinking clear. John Robinson messed up big time. Trilogy, what's up with you? Let's see. XD Gamer, Mr. Troll, how you doing? Trilogy said, take KB off the graphic. I'm sorry, I had to do it. Got Keon. We got a good crew of people in here. So everything now. Let's see what we can get for Henry, Tannehill, and Hopkins. I hope they don't trade Hopkins. Hopkins needs to be the one guy that they truly don't get rid of because somebody has to have some stability. Trilogy said 22 better be on the roster after the deadline or I'm out. Well, I got some news I've seen that might make you a little sad today. Sin City Titan, I see you in here. Bruce James. In other words, we traded Kevin Byard for a Capri Sun. Although Capri Suns are usually pretty good. D09 says all John Robinson's fault. We got to go through this. No, it ain't time to blame. Stop blaming John Robinson for everything. This is not John Robinson's fault anymore. All of y'all wanted to blame John Robinson for everything that was happening last year. He was fired. He's gone. And we're going to get into who really is to blame in just a bit. But now I bring in my guy, Mr. Ken Moore of K Moore Sports, joining me. I lost him for a second, but I'm going to have to get him back. Hopefully I'll get him back in just a moment. But yes, I'm sad to see Kevin Byard go. And I think I might have Ken Moore back now. Let's see. All right, Ken, do I have you?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you good. Welcome into the show, everybody. But we will talk about Will Levis in just a bit. But the man, the legend who basically broke the news before anybody else could, I would like to give this man his flowers. I would like to give this man a round of applause, Mr. Ken Moore, because, kid, on Twitter, you were taking some heat, or on Facebook, you were taking some heat. I had to put my 2 cents in and defend. I'm like, I can't remember who it was. Like, you can't believe this guy or whatever. I'm like, hey, y'all lay off my boy Ken. More often than not, he's right on what he's talking about. Like, the dude has some inside knowledge. He knows some stuff. So when Jadeveon Clowney was going to sign with the Titans, even though that turned out bad, this gentleman broke the news first. He was the first to say it. Will Levis starting. Ken was the first to say it. When we signed Kendall Lamb as an offensive lineman, Ken was the first to say, this dude is going to suck. Which, what happened? He sucked. So, Ken, welcome to the show. I give you your flowers. I give you your round of applause. I'm gonna give you your curtain call. How you doing, good sir? I know it's probably been a down couple of days with the Astros being eliminated, but talk to us. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, bro. I appreciate you. I always love to be on the show. And yeah, man, Monday was difficult. We got the Kevin Byard trade early in the day, and then the Astros go out and lay an egg Monday night against our hated rivals, the Texas Rangers. So it's been kind of rough on us down here in H Town, especially for Astro fans. And then it's doubly hard on me because I'm a Titans fan, and so I got to listen to all these Houston Texan fans now with C.J. Stroud and D'Amico Ryans. And I got nothing respect for those guys. I wish them the best. I wish them all the success, but I don't wish them to be better than us. So it's been a rough couple of days for you, boy.
I definitely understand that, and shout out to the missus of Titans of Truth from Chicago. By the way, happy birthday happy belated birthday to my lovely wife, uh, Miss Sunshine Lavender. She's up in Chicago with her mom. I would have been there too, but unfortunately, duty calls, and I was not able to get the time off from work. But hey, everything gonna be cool when she gets back, so we gonna do that. But um, as we were getting started, I definitely wanted to get your thoughts on, and of course, everybody, giving the flowers to Ken. I wanted to get your thoughts on the Kevin Byard trade. We were just getting started. That was the first thing that we kind of talked about. So, what were your thoughts about this trade? Do you think the Titans got, you know, a decent return, or was it a bad return? What did you think of this trade?
Where they get fifth and sixth round picks, and the Titans are very draft capital strapped right now
Mm-hmm.
because there's not a lot of picks for the 2024 draft. You would hope that with a guy like Kevin Byard, you could get more, maybe a third round pick, maybe a fourth round pick. I trust that Rand obviously made calls to all of the other 31 teams, and Philadelphia made the best offer. What happens in these situations is because Kevin's contract is so high of being $14 million next year, that brings down the draft capital that a team is
Mm-hmm.
going to offer. Say, for instance, if he was making $5 or $6 million a year, then the Titans could say, hey, we want a second round pick, or maybe we want two third round picks. But with his salary being so high, that lowers the amount of trade value that he has. So I understand everyone's frustration with only getting a fifth and a sixth round pick. I'm frustrated with that as well. But that was the best that they could do based on the situation that they were dealing with.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I would have liked to have gotten a little bit more. I would have liked to have maybe seen if we could have gotten a fourth. Maybe a fourth and a fifth could have been good. I know I heard, I believe, Austin from AZ Sports or somebody else saying that the fifth to sixth round pick kind of combined translates to a fourth round pick, which I really can't don't read too much into that per se. Also, we do get a safety in Terrell Edmonds, but I haven't really heard a lot of glaring reviews about him coming out of formerly of Pittsburgh and with Philadelphia, of course, his older brother Tremaine Edmonds, who plays in Chicago. Even though the Bills didn't re-sign him, a pretty good linebacker. Um, in his own right. So we'll wait to see. Terrell Evans did practice for the first time, and he seemed to be maybe excited. Maybe a change of scenery could do him some good. Probably thought it was what it was going to be in Philly, but
Right.
again. And I know a lot of fans are upset with Kevin Byard being gone. Ladies and gentlemen, me and Kid can tell you this. You got to separate the fan from business. Yes, I hate Kevin Byard is gone too. Ken hates Kevin Byard is gone. But the fact of the matter is, you got to understand business. And we're, of course, about to talk about somebody else in a minute who I know for a fact if this goes down and the way that I think it's going to go down, I know a lot of y'all are going to be crushed to the soul. And that is some other trade rumors out there, and one that probably has Titan fans terrified at the moment. And this came from Buck Rising about maybe an hour and a half ago, is that the Baltimore Ravens have emerged as a potential landing spot for Derrick Henry. That Baltimore is the most interested team in Derrick Henry. Not the Dallas Cowboys, not the Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens, who just kicked your butts in London. And so, that was from Buck Rising from A to Z Sports that, right now, things could heat up. And I don't know if things have actually happened. But right now, words are things are getting pretty serious. And I mean, everybody, all I can say is if y'all saw my live, about a year ago, about a year and a half ago, and I wish I could bring it up. I may have to see if I can scrounge and find it, and I could play it for you a little bit. But I warned all of y'all. I said, get yourselves ready, prepare your lives for life without Derrick Henry. Prepare yourself for life without Derrick Henry. Because at some point, it's going to happen. We're about to head into a very brand new direction. And I know, and I'm going to get Ken's thoughts on this in a minute. A lot of y'all are not thinking logically in business. You're just thinking, I love Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's our guy. I'm going to quit on the team if Derrick Henry gets traded. Don't do that. If you're going to be a fan, you be a fan through and through. I've been a fan of this team for 26 years, 26, 27 years. I was down for this team during the Music City Miracle, when they lost to the Ravens, when they were in the Super Bowl. I was with them in the lean years with Jeff Fisher when they were 4-12, 5-11. I lasted through the Ken Wisenhunt years. Talk about bad times to be a Titans fan. If y'all can last through that, you can last through this. And yeah, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. But, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But we're heading into a brand new age now. 9 times out of 10, Derrick Henry was probably not going to be on this team next year, most likely, depending on what goes down. Tannehill's not going to be on this team either. We're about to see Will Levis possibly at quarterback. Mike Vrabel's probably not going to be here next year either, the way things are going, because he seems like he's losing it. He seems like he's lost his mind, and I don't think he's going to get it back. And I'm going to get some of y'all comments. Ken, let me let you jump in here. Thoughts on some of these rumors that basically the Titans are open for business. Henry, Hopkins, maybe Autry. Don't know about Fulton. That this could be a full-blown fire sale.
It's a lot to unpack there, especially with Derek. There's a few factors that the team has to consider. One is that you're going in a direction with young quarterbacks, Levis, and or Willis, depending on how that situation plays out. The best thing for a young quarterback is to have a running game.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing is to not have a running game and you got to drop back 30 or 40 times and try to pass the football, especially when you have an unstable offensive line. So I think it would have to be a monumental deal for them to move Derek. And when I say monumental, I mean I would think at least a second round pick, or maybe 2 third-round picks to move Derek. Derek is a free agent next year. So there's no additional money that a team would owe him after next year, which may make his trade value a little bit higher than Kevin's. But it would be really, really difficult because you would have to look at what you have left at the running back position for the remainder of the year. Obviously, you have Spears, who's shown that he's good out of the backfield, good in third down situations. But are you ready to make him your feature back where you're giving him the ball 20 times a game? I believe Chestnut is still on IR, if I'm not mistaken. So you don't have Chestnut. And I think we just signed another running back to the practice squad this week. So there's not a lot of depth at the running back position if you lose Derek. So that's one thing that, that's one thing to keep in mind that may keep Derek here, is that there's not a lot of depth. You want as much help for Will Levis as possible. And look, you got to sell tickets, man. You got to keep people interested in this ball club. You got to keep people coming out to that stadium. And so it may really hinge on what happens Sunday against the Falcons. If you win Sunday against the Falcons, you still got an outside shot at the division. You haven't played Jacksonville yet. You haven't played Houston yet. You still have one game against Indy. So you still have 5 division games ahead of you. So it would be a bummer if they do pull the plug completely, because that has a ripple effect throughout the locker room, not only just losing Derek, but his presence, what he means to the organization. So that's something that you really have to take into consideration. I tell you this, it won't be for a 5th and 6th round pick. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, I do think that and shout out to Tennessee Titans Weekly, by the way, Jacques and Hawk. And Hawk, I know if you're listening out there, don't do the coffee and mayo, at least not yet. Don't do it. Don't do it to your stomach like that, bro. Don't do it. Don't do it. But if you could get a second for Derek, or like you said, a couple of thirds, if you can get a second and maybe a fourth, or if you can get a couple of thirds like this year and next year, I mean, and maybe get a Devin Duvernay out of the deal. I mean, if you can get a Devin Duvernay out of the deal, I believe I saw one that was like a second and a fourth and Duvernay. If Baltimore gives us that, I'm taking the deal. Why? You get a second round draft pick, which you could go in and trade for first. You'll have a 1, you'll have a couple of seconds, you will have now a couple of 4s. You got Duvernay, who is a speedster, which You and I both know we've been dying for speed for years. And he can return punts, which you can kick Kyle Phillips' bum tail to the curb and not have him do it anymore.
Right.
And and this and our troll needs validation. I mean, look, yo, Jags are doing all right. Although Trevor Lawrence better give me some fantasy points this week. I know that much. Or else I'm coming for you, XD. And this weekly says anything for a win. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't know. Dio9 says if the Ravens give us a second, I'm on that. I mean, I agree. I agree. If a second is in there, I'm like, okay, Baltimore, let's see if we can get this thing done. Let's see what we can do. Hopefully after this game, because I think it really hinges on this game. Who do we think to trade? Who do we think we trade Henry to? Right now, the Baltimore Ravens are the front runner at the moment. From what we're hearing from Buck Rising, of course, we know things can change. We know things can, flip at the drop of a dime. We know that can happen. But I'm with you. Yes, for a young quarterback, you need a running game. And you need a reliable outside weapon that you know you can depend on. Because you say a tight end could be a quarterback's best friend. The only problem is Chig's been a disappointment. Josh Wiley is in concussion protocol, and we don't know if he'll get out of that yet. And if you get rid of DeAndre Hopkins, there goes your most reliable weapon that you're going to have. Traylon Burks, I don't trust him to stay healthy. So I'm hoping that can happen. But Tizzy Tight Weekly, they say a second and an additional fourth or fifth would suffice. I mean, I could get down with that. Yes. And I get it with all of y'all that y'all are going to be heartbroken, that you're going to be sad. You're going to want to give up on the team, and you're going to want to destroy and fire everybody. And I get your anger. But again, look at it from a business side of things. Derrick Henry is heading into 30. Yes, I know I've said it many times that he is an alien. He is built differently than any other running back we've ever had. I would hate to have to play against him, but hey, if we have to, we have to. We'll just have to take him down. As much as I would hate to see that happening,
Yeah, that would be scary. Him and Lamar Jackson in the same backfield.
that
Oh my
would be
God.
scary. I do agree. That would be scary. So, but we would have to deal with it if we had to come to that. But we're gonna see how all of this goes. I know everybody's just stressed out over the trade deadline, but it does, I think, depend on this game. That if the Tennessee Titans find a way to win this game, I think they have a chance to save their season. And then I think you buy yourself some time. But if you lose this game, you're gonna be 2-6. Because I'm gonna go ahead and put this out, and Ken, tell me if I'm wrong for thinking this. You're not beating Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh on a short week, especially with a rookie quarterback in this situation with um with the with the short week, the trade deadline. Because even if you do that, that's going to be a lot to adjust.
Yeah, it could all be done after the Pittsburgh game as far as the season if they lose these next two games and go to 2-6. Like and then at that point you're like, all right, do we need to get into Caleb Williams sweepstakes? Do we need to try to, bottom out and get, to a top 3 pick at that point? Again, coaches are never going to coach to lose. Players are never going to play to lose. But it can be determined by the players that you put on the field if they're not up to stuff. So it's really hard to say, man, what direction this team is going to go with. I don't know enough about Rand to know what his thought process is. I haven't been terribly impressed with the deals that he's made thus far. I didn't like the Andre Dillard signing when it happened. I didn't like the Tim Kelly hire when it happened because he was a red zone disaster in Houston. We talked about that this summer, and that has, reared its ugly head with him. So I haven't been that impressed with what I've seen so far from Rand. But again, this is a team that's going to have about $100 million in cap space next year. They have some additional draft capital with Kevin's deal. Derek, man, it's tough. It's tough. They kind of between in a rock and a hard place because, as you mentioned, he's not under contract next year. So unless they think that, hey, we can re-sign Derek for another year, he can finish his career as a Titan. We'll just bite the bullet on that. Let him help usher in the new quarterback, whoever that's going to be, and give him that stability in the backfield along with Spears. Then that may be the route they go. But honestly, I don't know what they're going to do with Derek. I really don't know.
I agree with that because without Derek, I agree the morale dies. The morale dies because Derrick Henry and Kevin Byard, they were your faces of the organization. They are the guys that you could put them out front and represent this team. Now half of that is gone, and potentially the other half is about to be gone. And so this truly is going to be where we start over. And we're going to find out where the real fans are, as we've always been hearing, real fans and fake or fair weather. I mean, hey, I've been called a fake fan myself. So, we're definitely going to find out about that as this time goes on because, I mean, somebody mentioned save the season house, 7-10. And I said, and I'll answer that by saying, no, not exactly. Because if you're 2-4, and if you could possibly get to 4-4, if you beat Atlanta and Pittsburgh, then you got a chance. You kind of have a chance. But if you don't win these next two, well, even if you split one and go 3-5, with the division, you kind of still have a shot. And I'm not going to say 100%. But if you lose these two, if you lose this Atlanta game, I think it's over because, again, you're going to lose to Pittsburgh. I think we're going to lose to Pittsburgh. Short week, trade deadline, too many distractions. If Derrick Henry is traded, that's just going to crush everybody. And we're going to show up just lifeless on that Thursday night. I expect that. So I'm sorry, y'all, but hey, I'm called the truth for a reason. And I'm just going to spit some truth, some cold, hard truth. And I told y'all, if y'all looking for a fanboy or a rah, it's going to be all right kind of guy, this ain't the show for you. If you want the truth,
give me a minute.
Okay, you go right ahead. And if you want some truth, that is where I come in. And my truths may not always be correct. My truths may not always be correct. And again, Derrick Henry may not even get traded. But I think it all depends on this game, on what happens. So, another thing that happened, of course, was the rumor that came out from Ian Rappaport, and that is at XD, maybe I'll talk to you when we play the Jags. When we're about to whoop up on your Jags, maybe I'll come holler at you. Miss Margarita, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome into the show. RK says, trade Fulton while you're at it. Maybe a 5th-round pick. I mean, Fulton probably has no value. I would trade him for a 7th-round pick just to get him out of here. This team could actually be anywhere from 5 to 10 wins. Honestly, the way that the schedule is kind of looking, I think the Titans are only going to win maybe 2, maybe 3 more games the rest of the season. I really could see that. I really hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. And I really hope I'm not. Trilogy said, I'm shocked I'm shocked Kent ain't in here to rub this in our faces. That's true. I'm kind of surprised. And and we'll talk about that. Yes, the rumor came out from Ian Rappaport that the Titans are expected to start Will Levis at quarterback this Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. And of course, the first thing Mike Vrabel does, because Miss Teresa saying, it looks like you're preparing to start Will Levis. Mike Vrabel completely denies it, saying, I never said that. I never said Will Levis is a starter. And he kept going back. And this has been a horrible week for Vrabel because, as somebody said earlier, Vrabel looks depressed and stressed. He looks like he's tired of all of this, like he wants out. And if he keeps going this way, he is going to get out because he's going to be fired at the end of the year, the way that this is going. And Rand can finally take control and pick his guy to be an offensive-minded guy that can start this rebuild process. I don't think Vrabel's going to be around to see it. We talk about the new stadium. Looks like Kevin Byard's not going to be in it. Derrick Henry's not going to be in it. Mike Vrabel ain't going to be in it either, the way this is going. And so he comes out and says, I never said that. We're going to look at both quarterbacks. And he also mentioned that it could be a series by series. Maybe he might do like he did in the preseason game against the Bears, keep switching Malik and Levis in and out of the game, which I pray to God he doesn't do that. Because if he goes into the game and does that, that is coaching malpractice, and Mike Vrabel should be fired right then and there. Because that is what I call coaching malpractice, and that is the definition of idiocy, insanity. And I tweeted out, I said, during the press conference, I said, Mike Vrabel cannot be this incompetent. But I'm starting to see Mike Vrabel might just be that incompetent. This is all Mike Vrabel's fault. This is all Mike Vrabel's fault now. Because everybody want to blame John Robinson, but let me ask y'all a question. Who decided instead of playing Skoronski at left tackle, we're going to play him at guard? Who made that decision? Mike Vrabel. Who decided that, yep, we're going to give Aaron Brewer $4 million and put him at center even though he's undersized when you could have drafted John Michael Schmidt? That was Mike Vrabel. Who was the guy that said, yep, Andre Dillard's our left tackle, even though he stinks? Mike Vrabel. Everybody want to play John Robinson for Dennis Daly. Who was the guy that kept trotting Dennis Daly out at left tackle instead of making a sensible move and putting Dylan Radunz at left tackle? Mike Vrabel. This is all Mike Vrabel's fault, y'all. Now. And now, of course, NPF over Skoronski as well. Now, NPF naturally played left tackle at Ohio State. And I mean, he kept talking about versatility, instead of playing people at their natural positions. And I just think it's going to probably, if NPF is that bad, if NPF is bad, he ain't going to have no choice but to put Skoronski at left tackle because any other coach is going to put Skoronski at left tackle. So, again, I blame Mike Vrabel for all this, but Will Levis expected to start, and according to Vrabel, as dumb as he is, both quarterbacks are going to play, which I'm hoping it is. Will Levis takes about 90% of the snaps. Sprinkle in a little Malik, because I felt like this. If it was going to be Malik Willis, he would have said Malik Willis is our starting quarterback. But instead, not only did he keep saying, oh, we're going to look at both quarterbacks and we're going to prepare both quarterbacks to play, he just kept saying Ryan Tannehill's name as if Ryan Tannehill's going to be ready to play this week. Like, well, we'll see where we'll see where Ryan is at the end of the week. You know, he's obviously not going to practice today, but we'll see where he's at the end of the week. And you know, if he can go this week, he'll be the starting quarterback. You know, he kept saying, well, we'll see where Ryan is at the end of the week. We'll see where Ryan is at the end of the week. I mean, basically acting like he's holding out that last glimmer of hope that Ryan Tannehill is going to be available to start. When we all know Ryan Tannehill ain't playing this Sunday. He ain't playing this Sunday, and he ain't playing Thursday night. These next two games, he's out. If any, the earliest he may come back could be Tampa Bay, and I don't even think he's doing that. Ryan Tannehill will not play another snap as the Titans quarterback. I can bank on that. And Steve Carter says, and Mike Vrabel won't be fired despite that because Amy is too loyal to him. Trust me, if you trade Derrick Henry and the losing keeps coming and you see a bunch of empty seats, that'll change Amy Adams Strunk's mind real fast. And it'll change Rand Carthon's mind real fast. Because Rand and Amy gonna have a meeting and say, we need to find us a new head coach. Offensive minded. And Tennessee Titan Weekly talking about Vrabel when he was in New England, that could have been a shot at the Titan. It could have been, but I really didn't read much into that because it's like, you know, they're celebrating him for what he did for the Patriots. And, you know, D09 is just going to die on the hill saying it's John Robinson's fault. Robinson ain't here no more. We have to face facts. Even if Mike Vrabel gets fired, we have to pray the Patriots don't fire Bill Belichick. I mean, hey, if they end up wanting him in New England, they can have him. They can have him, as far as I'm concerned. And Josh Reyes says, I told y'all, Rand Carthon and let Vrabel do what he wants so he can show Amy that Vrabel's decision is a huge reason that the Titans roster is where it is. Absolutely. If that's the case, I would do the same thing. Let Mike Vrabel dig his own grave. You know what they say? You made your bed, you gotta lie in it. I don't disagree with that one at all. Josh Ray, that's an excellent comment. Steve BOE, what's up with you? And so Will Levis, I mean, hey, we're going to see because, you know, with Will Levis, I think we're going to find out what we have. And like what Ken said, if we find out Will Levis is not that good, then you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen is we're going to be in that market for maybe Caleb Williams, Drake Mays, Mike Penix, Quinn Ewers. You know, as time gets closer to the combine and the draft, a lot of quarterbacks are going to shoot themselves up. And this will be a good draft class for us to be picking up high. And we will be picking high early in the first, second round. Maybe we can get a third. So we're about to find out with Will Levis what's going on. We're not going to do anything with Two-Tone Blue Star of the Week and Dunce of the Day, although I would say Dunce of the Day is Mike Vrabel, especially for his press conferences the last couple of days. Because he's acting like he don't know who he want to start at quarterback. I'm like, just pick a quarterback and stick with him. You make a decision and you stick with it. This two quarterback system never works unless you plan on playing Malik Willis like Taysom Hill. And Taysom Hill, he plays on punt team, kickoff team. He runs routes. He does everything. He plays quarterback, running back, tight end, plays on the kickoff, the punt team. He does all of that. Malik isn't gonna do all of that. He's not. And to say that he will would be wrong. But we got Titans, Falcons, and I'm going to take that down because that is incorrect. It is not Titans at Falcons. I will fix that. But it is Titans, Falcons, a noon kickoff. And the Falcons right now, I believe, they started off as a 1-point favorite, but now they are a 2.5-point favorite. So I'm gonna try to see because I know the Pelicans and the Grizzlies. My Grizzlies are finna get ready to play in just a bit. But I'm taking a look at BetMGM, and right now, yep, the Falcons are a 3-point favorite right now, and so that's gonna be the thing. Can he hold up? Trilogy says, "Give me Drake May." We're probably gonna be talking about him at some point. Ty Hugo says 3 straight years of drafting a quarterback is embarrassing. They haven't hit since McNair. Hey, you know what they say? You keep going after a quarterback till you get one. Till you get one. And if we find, and we're gonna find out if Levis is any good, because it seems like everybody has given up on Malik. And again, the Titans have set Malik up to fail. And I don't like that. But let's talk about this Falcons team, because this Falcons team is very, very, very good defensively. And they have a trio of running backs. That could be very good in Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, and Cordell Patterson. Of course, Desmond Ridder is starting. You know, he has his struggles as well. Has thrown 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Bijan Robinson, of course, 404 yards on the ground, but he also has 26 receptions out of the backfield. You got Drake London, who could be he's a very talented receiver. You got Jonnu and Kyle Pitts, which that is a very nice duo of tight ends, along with Michael Pruitt. You know, defensively, one of the better safeties in the league is Jesse Bates. You got David Onyemata, who was formerly of New Orleans. Calais Campbell. I forgot Calais Campbell is on this team. Grady Jarrett. They have both a good offensive and defensive line. And of course, Bud Dupree is there as well. So we have quite a few former Titans over there. So the Falcons have a pretty decent defense, and they have a very good offensive line led by Chris Lindstrom. And so the Titans, they're going to have their work cut out for them. This is not going to be a walk in the park. And I know the Titans are wearing their throwbacks, which I am looking forward to seeing that. And let's see. RK says most GM want their own coach hire. Vrabel may be out of here. I think so. So we're definitely going to find that out. And Atlanta, you know, like I said, pretty darn good in some areas. And you know, they got a trio of running backs. You know, if Desmond Ridder doesn't struggle, you know, he could be serviceable with Arthur Smith. And that is another thing we haven't thought about. Arthur Smith, who knows this team very well. He's familiar with the offense that we run. He's also familiar with the defense that we run. So that could be a point too, because I mean, go back to the Cleveland game. Jim Schwartz had that defense ready for everything He knew, you know, Jim Schwartz had that defense prepared. They were ready for us. They were ready. They were able to do, they pretty much knew what we were going to do before we did. And Ms. Margarita, you're right. TD did do a whiteboard Wednesday, which I give a shout out to TD because he be doing it. And I got to retweet it and say, look, he need to be coaching because he put something very smart on there as far as a good game plan that they could use. And so we go into the Blue Enforcer 4 points to victory, and this is what we could do to try to find a way to get a win and maybe save this season. Number one, I never like it whenever I have some graphics and I thought I've loaded them up on my phone, but then it don't load up on the computer. And it kind of ticks me off. So I'm putting up number one, but obviously y'all saw number two, which is lean on the King and D Hop. You got to lean on those guys. Let them take you to victory. Let these guys help you in what you're trying to do. If this is Derrick Henry's last game, let him go out with a bang. If this is D Hop's last game, let him go out with a bang. Because those two guys could be Will Levis's best friends. And if it all works, it may have the Titans rethinking things. But I said number one is you got to have a way to set Will Levis up for success. And the problem I have with Mike Vrabel is that too many times he sets his players up to fail. He set Malik Willis up to fail last year. He set him up to fail against Baltimore. Now, some of that was on Malik that he didn't let the ball go, but there were other times that you could have had Tim Kelly, roll the pocket, some play action, some bootlegs, some read option, something where that Malik could be the most comfortable, and give him some quick and easy throws. And like Ms. Margarita said, TD did a whiteboard Wednesday, and he had some plays where he set up where you could get him some quick, easy reads. Maybe get a quick a quick check down to the outside in the flat to Tajay Spears. Or you could have some receivers running upfield. You could have some guys going one way, have D-Hop come across the middle, and you have him in the middle of the zone because D-Hop can find the open spaces, and you could use that. Get him some quick, easy throws. Set Will Levis or Malik up for success. Don't try to game plan as if they're Ryan Tannehill. You need to game plan for their skill set. Will Levis has an arm. So that means if you could go max protect, put your fastest guys out there, maybe a Chris Moore or something like that, or Traylon Burks, take some shots downfield. And right now, Burks, word is from Vrabel that Burks did practice fully during the bye week. It does look like Traylon Burks is scheduled to return for Sunday. I would like Eric Bieniemy because he's calling plays now in Washington. And Washington ain't that bad of a defense. I mean, that bad of an offense. It's been said, what happened to Marcus Mariota? Philly. He's in Philly as the backup. So, number one, set Will Levis up for success. That is, get some easy throws, use the running game. Get some easy throws to D Hop, some easy throws to Burks, some easy throws to Chig, or if Wiley is in there. Give him some easy throws to give him a chance. And like I said earlier, lean on the King and D Hop. Lean on those two to help carry you. Number three, you got to figure out a way to make Ritter uncomfortable. And Mike Vrabel said the pass rush hasn't been good enough. Three quarterback hits in 2 games. That ain't going to cut it. We got to get in the backfield, and we have got to hit Desmond Ritter. Get him off of his spots. And don't let Desmond Ritter use his legs. Don't let Desmond Ritter create outside of the pocket. Don't make it easy for him. Don't make it easy for Arthur Smith to do what he does. And number 4, by God, show some damn fight. Because I feel like this team has lost some of its mojo. With Byer being traded and losing in London. Big Jeff calling people out. Vrabel looking lost. It seemed like this team has lost themselves a little bit. And, the media has asked, does it seem like the Titans are giving up on the season? Is it that the Titans are giving up on the season? And obviously Vrabel is not going to say that. Vrabel is too damn stubborn to see the writing on the wall. He's gonna, he's gonna fight to the end. I'll give Vrabel that. He's as stubborn as a mule, but he's a fighter. I'll give him that. JS75 says Landry could be on the block instead of Henry. I could see where Landry is on the block because, Landry has done absolutely nothing. I know he's coming off of an injury, and pass rusher is a premium position. However, if you do that, you got to replace him. We can't be any better. We can't be any better than our coach. I think I could coach better than him a little bit. So, again, Trilogy says some of them have given up. We're going to find out Sunday. Because if you lose to the Falcons, and especially if you lose in horrible fashion in the throwbacks, we're going to learn a lot about this team Sunday. Whether they still got some fight in them, or are they going to give up? Or have they given up? With everything that's happened, this is a very, very winnable game for the Titans. Despite everything that's gone wrong for them, and with a new quarterback, this is a very winnable game for the Titans. And if they can get to 3-4, they may have a chance. But unfortunately, I don't see it happening. I think the Tennessee Titans are going to lose this game. They've had trouble scoring. Like Ken said, they have issues in the red zone. They can't seem to figure out a way to score. They're terrible on third down. I don't like our chances, especially with a new quarterback. But we shall see. But I have the Titans losing 20-10. And I think it will shut the door on this season. And I know some of y'all probably think I've given up. In a very small way, I have. This team, and I'll say this, I'm still going to support the team. I'm still going to watch the game, be professional, love this team no matter what. But I just see the writing on the wall. This team is not making the playoffs. This team is just not good enough right now. You can keep Big Jeff, Henry, or Hopkins, and you start to rebuild. Burks, I can't trust to stay healthy. You're going to have a new quarterback, most likely a new running back. Most likely, you're going to have to continue to rebuild his offensive line, depending on MPF, as Skoronski can be good on the left side, or does Skoronski finally get moved to left tackle? Defensively, what happens with the secondary? I don't know. So it is what it is. Vrabel is stubborn. But I don't see the Titans winning this game. I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. But I don't see the Titans winning this football game, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. I don't see it. I will be glad to come in and say I'm wrong. Maybe the season could have been saved depending on how it goes. We will definitely find out. Two-Tone Fed in here. He says, as long as we kick a lot of field goals, those fantasy points work for me too. I can hear you on that. Trilogy says 21-17 Falcons. I mean, we'll see. Miss Mims, you just got to stick with us. Stick with us. But understand, all I'm saying, everybody, start watching these games with an open mind. Understand this team is just not good enough right now. And it is okay to admit that. Because, see, now I've taken the stress off of myself. I'll be happy if they win. I will not be mad if they lose. Because I'm going to be happy either way. And I can watch the rest of the season. Me and Liddell was saying it on a thing on Facebook last week. I can watch the rest of this season with an open mind. I just want to see how Levis performs and who shows some fight going into next season. Facebook says Willis is not fun to watch. Let's see what Levis got. We're about to find out. Will Levis could be our quarterback of the future, or Will Levis could be a bust? We are about to find that out without a shadow of a doubt. And everybody, my shut your pie hole moment, because it is the last the last Wednesday of the month. I always have a shut your pie hole. And I would just like to tell, I'm going to defend Miss Mims. Because Miss Mims, I know she's kind of given up too. If certain things happen, I know that a lot of y'all love Derrick Henry. A lot of y'all love the team. I know Miss Mims tried to call in to the Buck Rising show earlier this week and was met with a little bit of disrespect from them and from other Titan fans in a way. So all y'all Titan fans out there that want to insult other Titan fans for what they think, shut your pie hole. Stop this division that we have. We need to be together. It is okay. We can agree to disagree. I know some of y'all agree with things I say. A lot of y'all disagree with things I say. Sometimes I'm probably saying something, some of y'all probably think, okay, Truth done lost his damn mind. Or Truth talking out the side of his neck. I know some of y'all have said that about me from time to time. And Trilogy said, when you're getting a call-in feature, no one should call Buck. You know what? That is not a bad idea. Maybe that is something I'll definitely consider going into next season. and everything. And I think I may have Ken back on to kind of wrap up the show. I'm going to quickly get maybe a couple of his thoughts on Atlanta and maybe get his prediction before we do call it a night. Um, Ken, good to have you back. I mean, I know you had to go for a while. You
Yeah,
know, we kind of
had
was
a little bit of a business call I had to take care of. Sorry about that.
that's definitely understood. But real quick, I wanted to get your thoughts on Atlanta coming up this Sunday. Uh, what do you think the Titans? What are a couple things the Titans need to do to win, and what is your prediction?
Man, Atlanta, they have a real good defensive team. Obviously they have a lot of weapons on offense. Their quarterback has really struggled, Ritter, particularly in the red zone. He had a lot of turnovers last week, but their defense has been surprisingly good this year. I know Bijan Robinson, he was ill last week, so he didn't get a lot of playing time, but obviously you want to keep an eye on that guy because he is a talented back. Former Texas Longhorn, of course. So, of course, you got to keep an eye on that guy. And they got some talent on the outside with Drake London. Of course, they got Kyle Pitts. Everybody knows him. And then, of course, the return of Arthur Smith, coming back to his old stomping grounds, going up against Vrabel. So, Arthur's going to want to come in and put some points on the scoreboard against our defense, and we got to be ready to play, man. I think the key to the game is obviously you got to protect the young quarterback, man. You got to protect him. We have to get the running game going. And when we get in the red zone, feature Derrick Henry, man. Feature Derrick Henry. You have to get, a lot of time coaches make games, and this is in every sport, they make games too complicated. Get the ball to your best player, design
Mm-hmm.
plays to get him in space. Every time we put Derek in the Wildcat, it's a successful play. You don't have to be limited to running 2 Wildcats a game. You can run him 5 or 6 different times in the Wildcat if it's successful, if that's what's making your offense move. I don't know why they feel a limit to have to limit the amount of touches or the amount of plays that they give Derek the football. The strength is in your running game. Your offensive line does not protect well, so you shouldn't be trying to drop back and pass the ball the same amount of times that you run the ball. If you can run the football with Henry and Spears, run the football. One thing that I would like to see that I hope they worked on during the bye week is they need to go to a faster tempo. Every time the
Mm-hmm.
Titans have the ball on offense, they are using 30, 35 seconds off the play clock, trying to shorten the game. And that defeats the purpose of your offensive line getting into a rhythm. If you have a good positive play, then they standing around for 30 seconds because you're trying to drain the clock in the first quarter. Let those guys go up tempo, get into a rhythm. They start feeling better about themselves. Then you start to tire out the opposing defenses. What's happening is the defenses get a chance to rest against the Titans because the Titans are going at such a slow pace. They have one of the slowest pace offenses in the NFL. So that allows the defenses to rest on the other side of the ball. So I hope that's an adjustment that they made during the bye week. And that's what I want to see, man. More up tempo, more running game, and then let Levis use his leg and see what he can do.
Yeah, and that was something that I definitely said was one of my 4 points to victory. Set Will Levis up for success because I feel too many times, even though Malik had some issues and things like that, I really do believe Vrabel set Malik Willis up to fail last season and even in this game against Baltimore. I just feel like you got to play to the strengths of your quarterback, to their skill set. Quit trying to make Levis or Willis run the system as if they're Ryan Tannehill because they're not. They're not. Those are two totally different skill sets. Now, Levis is a little bit more, I would say it's a little bit more similar to Tannehill, younger, probably could move a little bit more. Willis is not that. And I think they just try to have him doing some things that Ryan Tannehill would do, and that's not playing to his best abilities. And so I'm saying, and I mentioned this earlier with TD with Teron Davenport on his Whiteboard Wednesday, he has some ways. He was like, set up some easy throws, some easy throws, some easy check downs where you can get some yards and let the quarterback get comfortable. Let him get comfortable, and as you said, get into a rhythm. And then also, it's like you said, lean on the running game. If this is going to be, if this ends up being Derrick Henry's last game, let him go out with a bang. Let him go out with a bang in those throwbacks. Lean on King Henry. Lean on D Hop. Let those guys help your quarterback. Because that could make Rand and Vrabel change their mind. Say, you know what? We might need to hold on to these guys to help our quarterback.
Well,
And then,
if I'm not mistaken, I believe, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, that the Titans put out a social media post today with Derek in the throwbacks. Of course, we've seen that same throwback, but my point is, if they put that social media post out today with Derek in the throwbacks, I think it was Derek, Tannehill, and Simmons.
yeah, from earlier.
That would tell me that he's not being traded, because if you're thinking you're going to move him, you're not going to put out a social media post promoting him in the game.
Yeah, I think those that particular picture. Yeah, I think they put it out because they're going to be in the throwback. But I know they put that out like when they released those
right,
uniforms
but I think
earlier.
They reposted it today. If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
So I do see what you're saying though. But another thing, of course, I mentioned is you got to make Ritter uncomfortable,
Yes.
and this is where trench play is going to be very important because they have a very good offensive line. We're supposed to have a pretty good defensive line, and their defensive line with Grady Jarrett and with David Onyemata and a couple of other guys are pretty good in their own right. So you're gonna have to be able to maybe make Desmond Ritter a bit uncomfortable. He showed that he could make mistakes. He showed that he can tend to lose the football in the game against Atlanta. I believe he fumbled twice in the game against Atlanta. In the game against Tampa Bay and everything. So get him uncomfortable. Let him make some mistakes. And I see we lost Ken again, but I know he's probably going to be coming back. But again, those are just some of the things that we need to do. And then I think I got Ken back now. But yeah, got to make Ritter uncomfortable and try to get out to that offensive line. And then last but not least, even though with everything that's going on, all the rumors, distractions, you got to show some fight. Show some fight in front of your home crowd. Show that you haven't given up on this season. Show that you know what, we're still in it. And I will, as stubborn as Vrabel is, and I can't stand him, I will give him this. That dude, if the ship is sinking, he's like the captain of the Titanic. He going down with his ship. He is going down with his ship. And I'll give that to Vrabel if nothing else. But show some fight in this game. And I think a lot is riding on this game. And my pick, I think the Titans are going to fall 20-10. I just don't have the faith in the coaching staff and putting the players in the right position to succeed. Ken, what is your quick prediction before we get ready to get out of here?
Man, I'm gonna go with the defense, man. I think the defense is gonna rise up in this game. I'm hoping, and this is maybe more than a hope than a prediction. I'm gonna go Titans 20, Atlanta 17. I'm hoping that the defense can hopefully get some turnovers, put us in some short fields. I'm hoping they utilize the running game. If Treylon Burks is back, I think that'll be a boost to the offense as well. That'll free up D Hop a little bit more on the other side. So I'm thinking we can probably score 2 touchdowns. The field goal kicker has been outstanding so far. That's one thing I got to give Rand credit for. He waited to the last minute to go get a kicker. And so, he's been money so far this season. So I'm gonna go 20-17 Titans at home in the Love Your Blue throwbacks.
All right. Well, that is definitely definitely there. So Ken is going with the home team. He's going with the Titans to win. I'm going with the Redbirds, the Dirty Birds of Atlanta.
The Red
I'm going
Stallions.
with them to win. I'm going with the Falcons. I know some of y'all out there are gonna be like, "Truth, you done gave up. You ain't a real fan. You don't believe." No, I do believe. I'm a real fan, but at like Ken, I'm being objective. I'm putting my fanboy aside, and I'm thinking logically, as some of you should. But that's that on that. But everybody, like I said, this whole real fan, fake fan stuff, all y'all need to shut your pie hole about that. In the end, we all fans of this team. We all want the best for this team. So stop trying to fight each other. It is okay to disagree. Heck, me and Kid disagree from time to time. But you know what? I love that brother, man. I
Mm-hmm.
love that brother for what he brings to the table. This dude, and I'm going to let him tell you, y'all check him out if you can on ESPN3. He does a lot of great work with the SWAC, and doing a lot of great things with the SWAC. Of course, I know we had some big homecomings recently with Jackson State, Tennessee State. I think Texas Southern might have had their homecoming recently. Ken, I'm gonna let you before you get out of here. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, guys, you guys can find my games on I do for those that don't do I do college football for ESPN for the Southwestern Athletic Conference. So you guys can find my games on ESPN Plus if you have the ESPN app, and if you subscribe to ESPN Plus, just go look up SWAC football. This week I will be calling the Magic City Classic, which is Alabama A&M versus Alabama State. That's probably the biggest game in the state of Alabama outside of Alabama and Auburn. So that game will be Saturday at 2:30 on ESPN Plus. Last week, if you guys want to go look through the archives, I did the Florida A&M Mississippi Valley State game. So if you guys want to check out the broadcast that I did last week, you can catch me there. And then, of course, on social media, you guys can find me at Kmore Sports on Twitter. I loved all the hate on the Levis news, but it's all good. That was more positive than negative, but it's all good. I don't get into Twitter beefs and X beefs and all that kind of stuff. On Instagram, it's Kenmore Sports, and then on Facebook, it's just Kenmore. You guys can follow me, Kenmore. I have two pages, Kmore Sports and Kenmore on Facebook, so you can follow both of those pages as well as Twitter and IG.
All right, and before we do go, Orchestra Al Pierce does come up with a question. Hopefully, it's not a crazy insult, but of course, I did just see it that looks like old Dusty Baker's gonna retire.
Yes.
Any thoughts on that before we say goodbye?
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I just made a post before I came on the show talking about Dusty because I've been one of the few people that were real critical of Dusty Baker this year for the Astros, and a lot of people took me to task for it here in the Houston area. But I felt like he didn't do a great job managing the ball club this year. He does a great job personality-wise. He's that father figure in the clubhouse. He's a legend. He is a legend in his own right, and I have nothing but love for Dusty. But like you, I'm going to be objective in my opinions, whether it comes to the Astros, Rockets, Titans, whoever the team is that I'm covering at the time. And but I wish Dusty nothing but love in his retirement. He brought a lot of respect back to the organization after what went on in 2017. He guided the ship. He got this team to back-to-back World Series, almost 3 in a row, got us a second World Championship. He is a Hall of Famer. He is a legend. He is one of the greatest people that you will ever meet in person. He is a beautiful human being, and I wish him nothing but the best. And we're going to miss him here, but I think it was time to step down, to let it go, and then we'll see who the Astros bring in to replace him.
Well, all right. Well, everybody, well said on that. I think it's time to call it a night. I'm gonna go try this experiment for some chicken that I got a recipe from. So I'm gonna fire up this air fryer and see if I have some success. Pictures will be out on my personal Facebook, Chris A. Newell, and Instagram, Blue Enforcer 1914. So definitely check that out. For Ken Moore, for my guy Ken, I'm your man, Truth. Chris, aka The Truth. Y'all remember, make sure y'all follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Of course, super chats. We've seen some. I appreciate all the super chats. That was appreciated. Make sure y'all follow. If you haven't given a like, go ahead and give a like. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and let me know what's and just give me some feedback. And everybody, thank y'all for tuning into the show. And no matter what, even though we're going to miss Kevin Byard like crazy, he will forever be the mayor of Murfreesboro. But we all got to tighten up because that's all we know how to do. Good night, y'all.
Good night, Pete.